So I just saw someone make a post talking about like their IUD and implants. Like I didn't know you can implant things into your arm to prevent you from getting pregnant. So that's new to me. So the very first time I got an IUD, I was like 18 going on 19. I was just I was in university. And that one was a copper one. I would still get my period, and my period would be like really heavy. Sometimes, like, my stomach would hurt really bad. And I think it was supposed to last 3 years or five. That counts. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then, like, in 20, like, then I changed it and I got the hormonal IUD. So I've had an IUD in me since I was 18 years old. That's the point I'm trying to get across. And I feel like the copper one wasn't bad. I was still like a little more feminine. Like I want to think like I feel like hormonal IUDs could make like mine since I got the hormonal one I think like in 2019. I've changed a lot. Like I really like my attitude is bad. I get upset very easily, and I'm just like, does my IUD have something to do with that? And then I heard somebody else talk about it right here on Snap, talking about how, like the slightest inconvenience, and they would just be like really bad, saying stuff like, oh, I hate men, and like this, that, and the other, like if you have to go on dates and stuff. And I'm like, I really need to take this thing out of me. Like I really need to get to know who I am as a person. I feel like since I got the hormonal IUD, I gain weight easily. It always shows in like my neck area, my chin area, and it's just like I don't like it. Like 1 minute I'd be up and bubbly, next minute it's like I'm eating a bunch of junk food because like I'm not feeling my best. And I'm like, I'm not even sexually active. I'm not in a relationship. Why do I have an IUD? Why am I even self like I personally, this is going to take us to another story. I feel like, why have women become so comfortable we damage our mental health, our like physical well-being, because a lot of, like I was saying, we really like damage ourselves for the purpose of being able to sleep with men, because it's no other thing. Like why are you getting on birth control, and why do we have IUDs? Because men we allow men to thrust in and out of us with their raw penises. It's like back in the day that was never a thing. If a man has access to be having sex with you raw, it's because he's made you a girlfriend. It's because he has plans of like marrying you in the future. And it's like we've just made it such like a thing where it's not a big deal. That and then we wonder why men don't want to marry us anymore, or like certain things. Like there's this girl from my workplace who would just tell me she's been with her boyfriend for 5 years, and she has like an IUD, and like she wants to get married, but he hasn't asked her to marry him. Why would he ask you to marry you if like one, he already has access to be thrusting in and out of you at your expense? She even probably paid for the IUD herself, because we focus on the fact that we don't want to get pregnant. But it's like, sex is great, but the real purpose of sex is to like have kids. You know what I mean? Like when you really think about it. But it's like people make it into a thing now where like, and women are the ones that suffer. Like how many times do we see women go overweight, gain 100 pounds, and it's like that same man that you're doing these things for is just gonna like, when he decides he doesn't like you anymore, move on to somebody that's like skinny and get her pregnant and like give her kids and marry her. So I guess long story short, I'm just saying like I'm removing mine. And like in the case where like I meet somebody that I feel like I'm physically attracted to them, and like everything, and same with me, like you work towards it. No one's saying you can't have sex, but that's the purpose of condoms. Okay, men love having raw sex with women. And so if he wants to take that other step in the sense that he wants to not have sex with you without a condom, there should be talks about that. It's like, okay, so like it makes you be more responsible as a woman in terms of like what are you really doing? Like why are you having someone like thrusting in and out of you? What are the plans? Okay, for the future, like is he gonna marry you? Like if he doesn't want to use the condom anymore, like he's made you his girlfriend, is there talks about like marriage and kids and all those things, because it forces you to have those conversations, the unpleasant conversations. People don't even like to talk anymore. It's just like what's really happening. But yeah, like I really just want to get to know like who I am as a person moving forward, like without this shit and without this thing inside of me. And it's like, I'm really promoting it. Like I don't feel like, even like for example, a huge thing like I've heard in the US right now with the election going on is like them banning birth control and stuff. And people always see it as a negative thing. Why can't you see it in a positive light where it's like, well, now people need to like, well, there's also other bills like, is it Project 225 that kind of like stops schools and stuff, because like you have to be educated to be able to have like certain conversations, like on family and wealth and financial things. And it's like seeing things, like I'm just trying to see things like in a better light in terms of like, okay, so now that I don't have an IUD, it's riskier. So it's like you're not gonna be down to like just start seeing a guy and just start having sex and then just start having raw sex. You know what I mean? It's like they're gonna be dates. You're gonna have to like really get to know the person. You're gonna have to like decide what do you really want. Because you don't have to have sex and you don't have to go on dates or whatever. But like the whole purpose of like going out with people is to like get to know them. And if like there's intimacy and if like sex and stuff is gonna happen, then you have to have like important conversations, because sperm inserted into a vagina of somebody who's fertile and knows that like I can get pregnant, like those are conversations that you would have to have. You know what I mean? So yeah, all I'm thinking is like it's just gonna make me be more responsible. Whoever I date has to be like obviously a responsible person moving forward. Like I'm only getting older. I don't mind starting to like have kids soon, because I really do want to have children. Like having kids is a beautiful thing with once, especially when you're having it with somebody who's like really capable of just being there for you. Like a lot of people, men these days, like black men in particular, because I mainly go out with black guys, it's like there's a lot of primitive behavior going on where it's like I would be in the grocery store and like married men would come up to me trying to like have a conversation, trying to take me out, and it's just like, you're married. Like really being responsible is a big thing. Like you put people in their place, because it's like when those things happen, it just makes you think that are all men like this, but no, all men aren't like that. That's very important to know. All men aren't like that. And yeah, the whole thing comes from women. If you allow men to have access to you like that, why would they act differently? It starts with us. It ends with us. Women need to understand the power that you have, and it's like you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of your bodies, and that doesn't mean like having kids is a beautiful thing. Self-control is a beautiful thing. Like there's a lot of like porn and like stuff on the internet. Like OnlyFans used to be a thing where girls would just like be creative and post things of them painting. Now everybody's a porn star, and it's just like these things need to stop. So whoever developed these hormonal IUDs and all those things to prevent pregnancy back in the day, that's what happens when people try to control or invent things, and then you realize later on that, like, maybe I should not have done this. But obviously, it serves its purpose. I'm very grateful to have been able to have an IUD throughout, like, the years that I've had it. So I'm not going to be on here, like, being like, it's such a horrible thing. It's not, but there comes a time where you have to take it out. You have to decide, like, this isn't for me anymore. And this is me deciding by next month. Today is August 10th, I believe. And by next month, September, I want mine out of me. And then I'm going to give it an update on, like, how I feel. I hope, like, that I'm not going to be the person that gets angry so easily anymore. I just really want to, like, start nurturing my body and being a different person. I notice how, like, sometimes I would lose weight and gain the weight right back just like that. And it's like, I hardly even eat that much. I can admit that I do eat too much, like, sweet stuff. So it's like just an overall turnaround for me, starting with the IUD and, like, moving forward. Like, by this time next year, I want to see, like, a huge difference in my body in terms of, like, how I'm feeling. I want to be more centered with myself. I want to love myself more. I want to be more just better. And I think it's good for me to take my ID out and go from there. So that's my story. Like I said, I'll give an update on what it's like not having it. And I hope, like, women who have used it and no longer need it see it as a way, like, you need things when you need them, and then when you don't need them, you get rid of them. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, thank you for coming to another, as I was saying, thank you for coming to another sit down to listen to me, the best storyteller in the world, period. I like to use, like, other people's like, you obviously would never know who I'm talking about, but that's the whole purpose of, like, sharing stories, not just mine, but other people. It's done all the time. And yeah, actually, what inspired me to even, like, I was thinking about taking out my ID, like, a while. And then there's this girl that I follow on Snap. Her name's Max, and she was talking about, like, the same thing, how she realized, like, mood swings, she gets angry easily. And I'm just like, girl, you have a point. Sometimes, excuse me, sometimes, like, you get signs to do things from other people, and it's definitely time for me to take it out and pray and hope for the best moving forward, because I definitely would only want to date somebody who I really love and appreciate, and who really loves and appreciates me and my company, and, like, we just vibe, like, we're really close, and then that's really what I want in terms of, like, a relationship moving forward. And then talks about children, because I do want to have children, at least 2, possibly 3. So yeah, thank you for coming. Did I say that already? To listen to the best storyteller in the world. Why did that not? I'm the best storyteller in the world. And I mean, you just have to, you can look at my videos and you can tell, and you stick around and you're just gonna know that it's gonna be implanted in your brain. If you want to follow me on Snap, it's the same username as my YouTube channel, and toodles.